Tyrannosaurus.
Tyrannosaurus, right?
Please do.
Done and done.
It's the only way I have to get back to it.
So season 2. A lot of stuff happened in the first season. We got 2 of the main characters suffering from radiation.
We're going away from a lot of stuff happening in season 2. Nothing is going to happen in season 2. We felt it was a good way to change it up.
We felt like we made a lot of promises to the audience, and season 1 we set up a lot of mysteries, we lit a lot of fuses, got a lot of characters converging, and we get to pay all that off in a big way, so that's a favorite way to put another season.
The big change really is, season 1 was a lot of mystery and conspiracy and sort of what's going on behind the curtain. And I think the nice thing about collapsing the storylines, Miller, Tony, McCool, and Rossi, the big advantage is now we can play a lot of things in forward momentum and discovery. And that's the big difference, is that there's not a shadow play like who's doing what and what is it about. It's about this proto-molecule, what it means, what it actually does, who has it, who wants it, and it's a different tone, I think, in that sense, that actually, I think we're just playing a lot of different story.
It's nice to be able, I think shows that are trying to play the long game, you gotta really dig in that first season set up well. It means you don't give up a lot of goodies fast, because you can't go back, you gotta set things up, and then I think we get to earn now the chance to pay off these things that we've set up. Because I think a lot of shows want to win you over so badly that they give up a lot of their great story as quickly as possible, and you can't have it back once you give it up. So we're really excited about, the cornerstone of this season is meant to keep making the show a marathon. Yeah.
We did it with Christina Vasarala, as it says, like she doesn't start at 15 figure into season 1. Similarly, Frankie Adams, who plays Ozzy Draper, we brought her into like the last third of Leviathan Wakes. If you're looking at the books, she doesn't start until the beginning of Calvin. You're meeting her the first 5 seconds of the opener of season 2, because she brings a different perspective into the storyline, one that we did really well on, really dealing with last season. And again, it gives us another set of people to play with and launches the show in a totally very different place. It's kind of like a mission statement for us starting that.
Yeah, obviously all of this was about, it's a big team, it's like who's going to be Russell and Miller blowing up little forces. I want to know how it affects her. And in this season, how does all this affect others, and what's the margin of one of them? So it's really fun in the material, because the characters exist in time in the story, and so we're just saying, let's put the lens on them for a minute and say what they were doing while all this was going on. And we just love to mix it up like that, because it makes us feel like one story system. Everything somebody does affects everybody else, and we make that feel like one giant story.
Can you talk about the look of the proto-molecule? Because I kind of anticipated something a little bit more gruesome, and it had this more of a flighty alien effect, so it's obviously going to be something that grows. So
yeah, there was a lot of discussion about that, because I think in the book it's described as sort of a black thing, and part of the problem was, especially in this genre, you're going to get compared to the black oil alien in the X-Files. You're going to get compared to exactly so many different things. So, and Ty and Daniel were part of these discussions. What we wanted to do was create a unique look for what this was. And so it was after a lot of discussion, a lot of concept work, and this is where we ended up.
Yeah, I think we found a look that, because it's really hard to get past Ridley Scott and Alien like that. Like everybody stopped at the Geiger influence kind of, and we're like, it's beautiful and it's indelible. We have to do something that's our own, and so we didn't really try
there's a practical consideration as well. If you've seen the show, you know we operate at very low light levels. There's a lot of darkness. Black on black doesn't film so well.
Now, with the Bobby and the Martian, you mentioned the panel that you're going to see a lot more of the Martian. How are you going to balance what would appear to be an increase in the action, but still keeping the mystery and the conspiracy and that pacing with it?
The balance of every episode in a way. It's like, there are episodes with a lot more action and episodes with a lot less, like in every show of this nature. You can't have a space battle every week.
Right.
And sometimes you don't want a space battle because that also gets dull in and of itself. You get to live with these people and actually drill into the characters. That is, I think, actually the most useful story in every episode. So we have both. The season premiere is a great way to launch the show with a lot of action, and there's plenty of action throughout the season. But I don't look upon this as we're not an action show.
Good. So the tone is staying simple.
I think we're a little more on the spaceship side. I mean, the battle that in the season premiere is massive and cool. I mean, it really is. I think it's the biggest one that we've done so far, and there are plenty more to go. So yeah, it's not my dinner with a boss of Island.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. And it is, every sequence of their expenses, they're always motivated by, character decisions, things that have to get done. So we try to save them to be really special and then do something really cool as opposed to, a little bit here, a little bit there to keep the action.
Instead of the token battle, blow it over the top when it's counting. Good.
People tune out when it's not really motivated, and if you do it and it's not clever.
And it's expected rather than shocking.
Just the popcorn and some action movie. Now you come back, the sequence is still going on.
Yeah.
You don't give.
No, exactly.
It's just we need 12 minutes of non-stop action here, a few lines, and then 5 more minutes, and it means nothing after all. It numbs the audience.
A part of the mystery this year really is the proto model. What is it? How is it changing? What does it mean? What is it trying to do? That just runs through the entire episode of season 1.
And is the introduction?
Sorry?
Is there a possibility it might be essential?
The world is filled with many possibilities.
And is Bobby's introduction the same as in the book? Like, are we going to see the suit? Are we going to have that conflict?
Oh, you're going to see this too. It's not the same as the book, but you are meeting her and her team.
Meeting her, like we had said, what was she doing while all this other stuff was going on? So you're meeting her earlier in the book that allows you to
It's a little bit like a prologue, actually. It's like, it almost exists a little bit out of time. You're meeting Bobby on Mars. It could be happening some point earlier in season 1. It's like, but it doesn't really matter because it's like, the prologue is actually a great way to get into it. So it's something that representation is really important. I love representation of the show. How intentional was being so extremely intentional. The authors of the books were like, we'd rather not make Bobby Draper, 5'8" blonde girl, We've tried as much as possible to be intentional.
just to reflect the world as it exists. And that's one of the ways to win for the show, just to reflect the world as it is becoming. And because we've actually seen, we made a character, a white character, who doesn't write in the book for a story reason. And it always is dictated by the true love story and the result. As we exist in now, as a light in the future, one culture can become as big as I think we just want to stay truthful and realistic and not in every respect try to politics of this country now, where a lot of the anxiety comes from. The world is completely different now, and you know, we are becoming one humanity, whether we like it or not. And some people are not comfortable with that yet, and so that's still part of the thinking behind the show.
Is it more of a challenge to make a series that's based on a series of existing books than it is to, say, come up with something that doesn't already have a well-established source material?
I think both of those things, are hard in different ways. What's great about having a book series like The Expanse is the world is so beautifully realized and deeply thought through. And that, for genre, is incredibly important. It's like people say, oh, this feels like a real place, but these things seem to have an internal logic to them. That's because the guys who wrote it spent years thinking about it. And it makes all the difference in the world. And I think it's, especially these days, it's almost indispensable. You can create things from whole cloth, but when they exist already and you get to play in them, it's a very enjoyable thing.
There's nothing these guys, there's very little they have not thought through with, not to be like intellectual. They just have thought the truth of this stuff through. And there's so many layers to every choice they made, and we get to benefit from all that when we're telling the story. And it's as if it's so much is baked into the fabric of this thing already. We get to use that. It's like a gift to storytellers. You usually have to invent all that from old cloth. This is like now we can play with something that's make it work for the screen instead of figuring out what the hell is it. They've given us a tremendous amount of riches in this series.
Thank you.
It's Comic-Con with me. Every year she begs me to come, and then right when we show up, she begs me to take her home. But she can't not come. She's like, I gotta come, I gotta go. And then she gets here, she's like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. What have I got myself into? This is way too big. It's a little overwhelming,
Can you talk about the emotion of the scene where Miller finds Julie Mao finally?
Oh, well, I don't know. It was emotional, I guess. Was it? Did you like it?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I mean, was it a hard scene for you to film? Like, because he's going on this journey the entire season, and now it just comes to this pretty abrupt halt for him.
I know. Yeah, it's quite a downer for old Miller. I think he's got a lot of conflicting emotions. When you're looking for somebody and it's your job to find them and bring them home, and then you find them and they're dead. Yeah, it's sort of a failure. So I think he takes it personally.
Is there any particular scene last season that was harder for you to do than any other, or more engaging as an actor than any other?
Well, I'd say probably that last scene, finding it, just the whole working toward Julie Mao, Julie Mao really got under Miller's skin, in a way that she really rocked his worldview. Miller grew up on the streets. He's learned to take care of himself. Survival, right? That comes number one. You got to have your basic needs taken care of. When your basic needs are threatened, that becomes your world. I need to be able to eat, sleep, survive, be safe, take care of myself. That's survival. When you don't have parents and you're growing up in a system the way Miller did, because mining in space is really dangerous. So people die all the time. So on Ceres, they have sort of an orphanage for these kids that don't have parents. And the whole parental thing has changed 200 years from now. Anyway, it's more communal. But Miller really sort of got the short end of that stick growing up. So his MO was me first and fuck everybody else. And there's a way you become street smart. You learn how to do that. And then he confronts this girl who's this little rich kid who's beautiful, and her dad is some mega millionaire. I mean, the opposite of who Miller is. Not only that, this girl gave up all of that to go fight for people who she doesn't even know, who's not even her race, for my race, the Belters, who the fuck is this person? You know, who literally does the opposite, diametrically opposite worldview to my own. Here's a person who sacrificed all of herself for people she doesn't know. Because I'm a person who sacrifices everybody else so that I can survive. So that really got under my skin. Once I figured out that she wasn't just doing that to piss off her dad, the way most of these young people do, that it was more than that. That really sends him off on this journey, and it really throws a monkey wrench in my worldview and forces me to change in some way. So that was fascinating to me. I love the character. I love that through line. I love the guy.
Is that going to continue on with him fitting in with the crew of the Rocinante?
Yeah, it's like oil and water. He's the last guy you'd want on a spaceship. He's never been on a spaceship. Doesn't like space. He's he likes his little city, his world, these people. He's the outsider.
Well, and hats tend to float away.
That's fucking gone. Everything's gone. He doesn't have any of it. He's got literally the clothes on his back and his gun. And he's got Julie Mao's necklace. It says all of his possessions. So it's great. It's really, really fun.
So season 2 is a vengeful Miller then.
What?
So season 2 is a vengeful Miller.
I think at the beginning, he's pretty upset about some stuff. But he certainly has a great arc in season 2. Really goes places. I gotta tell you, I'm excited for you guys to see it. These writers are so fantastic. The books are great, but the guys who are turning it into the show, we are so lucky. We really are to be able to do some high quality science fiction. Where we have the money to bring some really terrific effects to it, but at the heart of it are these characters that I personally really, really love. So I'm very pleased and fortunate.
I watched the show, and I still continue to love the show, everything about it. And honestly, they had a really great time finding themselves invested in the story, and there's some stuff that's so wrong that they're like, this is like, this is what I really feel about this movie. The others are like, we're the good guys in this whole thing. It's like, then we do find out it's interesting. But no, really, villains are in these moments, in that perceived view.
Yeah, well, I know people like that. I think those people are underrepresented. I think, we're used to everything being easy. We're used to being fed everything at the beginning, and here's characters, and you need to like them. And here's why you like them. And it's all easy and nice. Frankly, I'm fucking bored as fuck with all that shit. I want challenging characters. I want to be able to reach a little bit. I want to be introduced to people in worlds that I don't know and that I'm not familiar with. And for me, it was a great opportunity to not have to worry about being liked. Miller doesn't give a fuck whether you like him or not. And he does have integrity, but it's an integrity that you're going to have to reach for. He's not going to fucking wear it on his sleeve and show you that has a man of integrity. You do what you do, There's a lot of people who are like, well, I'll be good if you're going to be good. I'm going to wait to see if you're good and then I'll be good. No, I'm not going to show you anything.
And that's
let's see what cards land on the table. Then you'll find out. I personally love characters like that. Yeah, especially if they can surprise you. So I'm hoping that, I don't know, it's nice. It's nice not to be
What about Holden? How was he going to get around with Holden? It was almost like a Bush and Sundance relationship.
I know, it's great, right? Yeah. They're too oil and watery, They really do like each other. But I don't think Miller would ever really admit it to him. And it's that oil and water kind of tension between them. It's two guys who like each other, but they're so different that they know it'll never work. So there's that. And I think Miller's relationship everybody. He's a very kind of like, he's got his little wall of protection. Who he is inside is a different story. And
We're back to one more question.
Thank you.
Strong bond, but it got tested towards the end of the first
It's
season.
me and Amos. You interrupted her wonderful question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Because it's all about him. So Naomi and Amos had a very close relationship in season 1 that went through some tests towards the end of the season. What's their future going forward?
You get to see it really tested. Amos relies on Naomi in a lot of ways, and one of the ways that he relies on her is she's his moral compass. Amos was traumatized, damaged at an early age. He's lost the ability to really connect, to socially interact with people. And so Naomi was such a special relation for him because she showed him how to behave and interact and what's the right thing to do, and he trusts it. He doesn't trust a lot of things. When that relationship's challenged, you start to learn who Amos really is and how he meets her and what he becomes without that influence. And we really explore that in season 2.
Do you think there's anything that he wouldn't do for Naomi?
When Amos, the difference between this season is it was him and Naomi. Amos is very tribal in that way. He's very connected to the people that are around him. But since they went through what they went through together, it's broadened to Holden and Alex. And in our relationship grows a lot, and we go through a lot in this second season. But he starts to expand his affection for Naomi and his trust all the way up to the first. They go together all the way up to the rest of the crew and the rest of the crew.
So looking back at all the stuff that you've gone through, and this is the thing that I always find so fascinating about the characters, would you say this whole thing has spiraled well beyond what they'd originally signed on for? Would you say it's now a sense of justice or revenge that's basically motivating them beyond basic survival?
I think in terms of Amos's character, I think that basic survival is his motivation. He is not caught up in the concept of justice or revenge. He doesn't feel in that way.
Right.
That's revenge is an emotional based motivation.
Right.
He doesn't have that. So for him, he wants to survive. He's not concerned with what's going on around the world. He cares about his family. He's willing to do whatever he has to do to take care of them. But survival is his instinct. It's what's motivating him.
One of the beautiful things about the show and the cast is each of us has such an incredibly different perspective on the events. I mean, you would ask Holden, Stevens, is it revenge or judge? Like, his motivation is completely different than Amos, and even Alex. I wouldn't say survival. Alex is heavily motivated by justice and is a very moral character. He believes in people and the family unit. He's very, very tormented by the injustice that has happened to the Belgians. And in season 2, he has to deal with consequences of having witnessed what happened to all of them, and that's going to have a profound effect on him in season 2, motivate him very highly in the events that unfold in season 2. He really does. He's very empathetic and very sensitive and very concerned with the impact of what's going on all the people around him. And I don't know. I mean, I think actually, Alec, I take it as a compliment that Amos kind of finds Alex interesting as a friend, because Amos is such a unique person and such a unique force. He picks his friends really selectively because, like you said, he's all about survival. So for him to actually invest energy in someone, which is what happens in season 2, we really do start to develop something. It says something about Alex that
Amos's which I think is really cool. That helps me for my character.
What do you dress as?
Ashitaka.
What is it?
Ashitaka.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure it out. I was like,
Sounds true more.
Traits that you have that you see in the characters that you wish you had as individuals, or is there anything also that you wish you didn't have?
I wish I was flat and fighting fire.
There you go.
I wish
I admire the fact how little Amos cares about what other people think, and I think that there's a freedom in that, and sometimes I wish I had that to be free from caring about people's opinion or the need to be liked. What that's interesting as an actor to play him is the social connection that we have as I'm talking to you and we're doing this and we're smiling to each other, whatever. He doesn't understand that. He doesn't have that give and take. So it's really funny his point of view because he can be severely rude to people. He has no idea that he's being rude, and that's fun to do. That's fun to play. But on the flip side, that's one of the things I wouldn't want to have because I don't want to, I don't want to be rude to people.
Speaking of fun things, we're going to hear some more Alex-isms, I guess I'd like to call them, like donkey balls.
Yes.
yeah, I think you're gonna hear a lot. They're usually trying to tone me down and hold me back when I'm throwing stuff like that in there. Whenever in rehearsals, I'll toss out some Texas-ism, and the gang will be like, I don't think this is the opportune time for that particular one.
Yeah, when donkey balls hit, now you can't shut him up. So he tries to throw something in there.
That was actually scripted. That's the title of that episode. I was like, you guys can't stop me from saying donkey balls. That's the title of the show. So yeah, you couldn't stop me on that one. But I'm always looking for an opportunity because this is a very intense show. This show is incredibly dramatic, and we are all fighting for our lives every single day. And any moment there is to find levity, to find humor, not in a slapstick, jokey kind of way, but that's what human beings do. Like, we can't keep pressing on that nerve over and over and over again. We're going, no, there has to be relief. And we do that in real life. I mean, I haven't participated in the military myself, but I have military friends. They tell me about when they're under pressure, they're always looking for things to try and lighten the mood and kind of bring things in perspective for themselves. And I think that's essential to kind of help people absorb what we're giving them.
On this show, it's probably the most diverse cast of any show on TV right now. So how does that feel? Or it takes the how diverse and what responsibility you have for being in the show?
I'm proud of that fact. I'm proud of that fact because I think I have a lot of different levels, but I think ultimately it's a realistic look. Mathematically, we look at, we're evolving in the way we're evolving, and we colonize these places, and humans do what humans do. That's what we're probably going to start to look at. I mean, I think it's a realistic look of which I think is interesting because now that the separation of that is gone, now it's planetism. It's like it's planets against each other. So it's interesting how we'll always find those separations. We'll always find those we're tribal in nature like that. So
I'm with Wes. I'm incredibly proud of me as someone who has had to deal with that type of casting in my career. To be part of a show where my race and my ethnicity have absolutely nothing to do with the character, even though it exists. He is of Pakistani Indian descent. And mixed in with Texan, because those are the original colonizers of Mars. It hasn't come up once in an episode, and it's never referred to because it's irrelevant. And to go one step further, if you look at the casting on this show, all of our females, if you look at Abasarala, Naomi, Julie Mao, and now Bobby Draper, all non-white females. Name one show that has nothing to do with ethnicity, where all your females are non-white, and don't have a male on which they're revolving. The diversity is not just about skin color. The show has taken it to another level. I'm hugely proud of it.
Yeah, they killed the white blonde girl in the first episode.
Thank you, guys.
I'm giving you flattering light.
So moved for you. All right.
You go first.
Oh my gosh. Well, no, you guys go first. I feel like I'm cheating if I do.
I loved the little behind-the-scenes vignettes that Sci-Fi gave us with you saying shit multiple times. Was that fun for you?
It is very much fun for me because in real life I don't curse a lot, maybe once in a million years. But in this one, I have to do it on a daily basis, and I've started enjoying it now because every time I say shit or fuck, everyone's going, she says it in such a polite way. You're the only one who can say fuck in a polite way. I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying it now. Yes, but this is her character.
Yeah.
And I love this character. I can say that this is one of the best characters I've ever portrayed. She's so vulnerable and yet at the same time so powerful. She's a woman, but she works 24/7. She has dedicated herself to her mission, and she's determined to keep Mother Earth away from the enemies, and she's worried about the resources on Earth. And I just, every time I think about her, I sort of imagine her like Mother Earth with huge bosom that humanity is feeding off of her.
But I love the feeling that you can't outsmart her.
I cannot outsmart her. Nobody can
Nobody
outsmart
can.
her. She treads carefully. She knows every word has been thoroughly thought of way beforehand. She's an amazing politician.
You said in a recent interview that in season 2 your character gets more interesting, and of course she gets shit done. Is there anything that you can tell us about how she gets more interesting?
By not running for office. She gets more shit done by not running for office. I love that. I think it's in episode 207. A colleague of hers asks her, Christian, you were working so hard, why don't you run for office? And she says, because I like to get shit done, and I like to keep my head attached to my neck. That says a lot about her. Yes, we're going to see a lot more about her this year, and obviously she's the representative of Earth, with lots of philosophy this year and poetry.
Finding that with her role in this series, that fans of science fiction move forward and saying they're big fans of yours because of that, and it's a character that they've never had the ability to relate to before. She's never been portrayed for them before in television.
That's right. It's a very new sort of character. We haven't seen anything like that before, and I cannot even recall any movies that has a character like her in it. She's very unique. It's coming from 5 amazing novels so far. I've heard there are 9 of them, but so far 5 are out. So you can imagine what the story can do for actors. It's the story that brings us together. It's the story that makes us feel good. It's not only based on amazing novels, but also amazing writers are fighting over this in the writer's room. Once I asked them, can I come to the writer's room and see what's going on? They said, no, you don't want to. Because we fight, somebody gets out and shouting, and then another one comes in. So they're doing such a great job. I think we owe it to them more than anything else.
Thank you.